Good morning/afternoon, everyone. Today, we're diving into the fascinating world of behavioral management techniques, focusing specifically on punishment and response cost strategies. We'll explore the different types of punishment, discuss important ethical considerations, and look at effective ways to implement these methods within behavior analysis. I'm excited to take you through a comprehensive overview that will deepen your understanding and help you apply these strategies thoughtfully and effectively. Let's get started. When we talk about punishment from a behavior analytic perspective, the main goal is to decrease how often a behavior happens by applying certain consequences right after behavior occurs. There are two primary types of punishment to consider. First, positive punishment, which means adding something unpleasant or aversive immediately after behavior to make it less likely to happen again. For example, adding a noise or a verbal reprimand following an unwanted behavior. Second, negative punishment, which involves taking away something desirable or reinforcing when a behavior happens. This could be removing a favorite toy or losing access to a reward to reduce the behavior's future occurrence. The effectiveness of punishment depends on several key factors. It needs to be immediate, meaning the consequence has to follow the behavior as quickly as possible to create a clear connection. The intensity also matters. The consequence has to be strong enough to impact the individual, but not so harsh that it causes harm. Finally, consistency is crucial, so the consequence is given reliably every time behavior occurs. This helps the person learn the connection more clearly. Ethics play a vital role here as well. Professionals emphasize using punishment responsibly and always alongside positive reinforcement strategies. This approach not only helps reduce unwanted behaviors, but also supports the development of new skills and encourages more positive behavior overall. When considering the use of punishment, it's important to first recognize that it should only be applied after we've tried reinforcement-based strategies and found them insufficient for reducing the behavior. We always want to start with the least intrusive methods. Ethically, we need active involvement from caregivers and obtain informed consent before moving forward. Our goal is to use the least aversive approach possible to achieve the desired behavior change. It's also crucial to carefully monitor for any side effects, like increased aggression, attempt to escape, or emotional distress. Consistency and immediacy in how we apply punishment play a big role in making sure the learner understands the consequences clearly. Lastly, ongoing monitoring helps us see how effective the intervention is and whether adjustments are needed. Reinforcing appropriate alternative behaviors at the same time supports lasting positive change and helps build new skills. When deciding to implement timeout procedures, there are several important steps to consider. First, before starting, you need to choose a type of timeout. This means deciding between exclusionary timeout, which involves removing the person entirely from the environment, and non-exclusionary timeout, where their access to certain things is restricted, but they remain in the space. Next, it's crucial to set clear rules about how long the timeout will last and the specific criteria for both entering and exiting the timeout. Preparing the environment is also key. It should be safe and have minimal distractions to make the timeout effective. Lastly, make sure the individual understands what's expected from them during the timeout, so there's no confusion. During the timeout itself, continuous monitoring of the person's behavior and safety is important. The timing should start as soon as the timeout begins, so it's consistent and fair. After the timeout ends, reinforcing positive or replacement behaviors right away helps the person learn what's appropriate. It's also essential to evaluate how well the procedure is working and make any necessary changes. Finally, keep open communication with caregivers or others involved to ensure everyone is on the same page and the approach stays consistent. Response cost is essentially about taking away a specific reinforcer when inappropriate behavior occurs, with the goal of reducing how often that behavior happens. One method is a direct fines approach, where a tangible reinforcer is immediately removed and is directly linked to the individual's behavior. Another approach is the bonus response cost method, which focuses on removing extra or bonus reinforcers that were earned beyond the usual baseline level. Then we have the group response cost method, where reinforcers are removed from an entire group because of one member's behavior, which encourages the group to help regulate each other. Often, response cost is combined with other techniques like timeout or verbal reprimands to make the effect stronger. When used within token economies, Earned tokens or points can be taken away as a form of response cost, which helps maintain a balance between reinforcement and punishment. Let's break down the main types of response cost methods. First, the direct fines method works by taking away tokens, points, or tangible rewards immediately when undesired behavior occurs. This immediate removal helps reduce the behavior quickly. Next, the bonus response cost involves removing extra reinforcers that aren't normally given, which helps prevent problem behaviors from escalating by making consequences more noticeable. Then, we have the group response cost, where the removal of reinforcers affects an entire group. This approach promotes accountability among peers and encourages them to support each other in managing behavior. Another approach is combining response costs with other consequences, like timeouts or verbal reprimands. Using multiple consequences together enhances the overall effect on reducing problem behavior. Lastly, integrating response costs with token economies creates a well-structured system. This balance of positive reinforcement and response cost helps manage behavior effectively while keeping motivation high. Each method brings a unique advantage depending on the context and goals.